Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I'm sure a lot of you guys exist on Twitter, and I'm sure you remember the era where leftists were celebrating all the indictments against Donald Trump. 96 counts! And for the most part, leftoids were getting behind two specific cases. Well, I guess you could say three. The documents case in Florida, the fake electors scheme case in Georgia, and then of course the January 6th case in Washington, D.C. Those were the three supposed cases that had the most substance, the most there. Those were the cases that were going to take down Donald Trump. And of course, two of those cases, the January 6th case and the documents case, fell under the responsibility of none other than Jack Smith. And all over everywhere you went on Twitter, you would see pictures of Jack Smith, sometimes edited in black and white with red glowing eyes. Jack Smith, the finisher. He's the tough guy who's gonna take down Donald Trump. There's no way Trump can survive Jack Smith's legal onslaught. The guy supposedly has a 99% successful prosecution rate. Jack Smith was at the top of the tippy top, but let's go back to those opening intro words. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Jack Smith gets exposed once again in Florida. Let's just say he's not exactly having a good time with Judge Aileen Cannon. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this headline, it's just beautiful and it really says it all. Jack Smith now admits that the FBI doctored evidence to produce stunt photos of classified documents during Mar-a-Lago raid. So this is actually an update on a previous story that I recorded a video on. We previously spoke about the revelation that Jack Smith's legal team or prosecution team had essentially admitted to tampering with evidence. Not exactly a good look in such a high-profile, delicate case. The chain of custody and the documentation of all evidence here needs to follow very strict protocols. But we learned that Jack Smith's team was just mixing up all the documents, grabbing files from certain boxes, and not replacing them in the original order that they had found the evidence in, which again is strict protocol, especially in such a significant case. But then it got even worse because we learned that they were essentially messing around with all the documents, not as they were scouring through things, trying to find important documents that the National Archives and Records Administration was desperately needing to get a hold of due to matters of national security. No, none of that. They were playing around with the documents just so they could get this photo right over here, which of course was immediately released to the press. Quickly, this photo was on the front page of every news outlet.
The 37 felony charges are related to the alleged mishandling of classified documents at Trump's Florida estate.
It's alleged Mr. Trump directed Nauta to move boxes of classified documents and suggested his attorney falsely say he did not have them.
A big part of the detail being that there seemed to be stuff everywhere. You read it, a ballroom, a bathroom, a shower, a shower.
Information that in the wrong hands would put the national security of the United States and the lives of our military members at risk.
Again, highlighting what I view as clear prosecutorial misconduct. Why are they engaging in political theater, creating this pile of supposed classified documents instead of respecting the evidence? And why in the midst of an election was that photo released to the press? Pretty bad stuff. But it just got even worse because now we're learning that they didn't just mess around with the evidence, but they actually doctored it.
Well, it turns out that the FBI probably wasn't telling the truth. You can see all these pages that say top secret. Turns out the FBI themselves had set up this Photoshop and had literally, photo op I should say, and had literally stapled that to the front of the files themselves. Special counsel Jack Smith and his team admitted that the boxes of files recovered from the former president's home were altered or manipulated, whereas Smith and his team had previously said that the evidence was in the original condition when it was found in the August 22 raid. Caught with their pants down. I love it when this happens.
As long as they're not going to take a whiz while they're there with their pants down.
Special counsel Jack Smith responded to President Trump's motion to dismiss the classified documents case based on the spoliation of evidence. Jack Smith admitted that the FBI doctored evidence to produce stunt photos of classified documents during the Mar-a-Lago raid. The FBI took photos of the documents with cover sheets and publicly released them to damage Trump. Here's a previously redacted document that recently got released. Quote, they used pre-printed added classified cover sheets for the initial placeholder sheets until they ran out of them. Having not anticipated finding so many classified documents, as if the FBI was so surprised by all these classified documents that NARA knew he had, that he was literally speaking to NARA, negotiating their return. They're literally his presidential records that are totally accounted for. Well, they just couldn't anticipate that they would find so many classified documents. What a load of frickin' crap, especially after the report from I think 2 or 3 months ago that essentially suggested the whole thing was a setup. Remember the pallet of Trump documents that was being held in a storage facility, then got released to Trump at Mar-a-Lago, placed in his personal storage and even at his home, I think a couple months before the Mar-a-Lago raid. They knew all the documents he had because they're the ones who freaking gave him the documents. But anyways, let's not get so caught up on that. At that point, the team began using blank sheets of paper with handwritten annotations to identify the document. The information generally included the document title, classification level, and a description of the subject matter, document identification numbers, blah, blah, blah. Some of these descriptions of the documents may themselves be classified, yada, yada, yada. As part of the processing of seized documents marked classified, ERT photographed the documents with appropriate cover sheets added by FBI personnel next to the box in which they were located. The photographs attached as Exhibit A are examples. Except they didn't do that. They didn't show clear chain of custody for each document. They didn't replace all the documents in the exact way that they had found them. No, instead what they did was essentially set up a photo op. FBI personnel had little cover sheets that they placed on top of all of the documents. They laid out everything they found right on the floor, took photos, released it to the press, because obviously they were more interested in giving the Democrats something to work with moving into the next election, and of course into the next election following that. They were more interested in doing that than actually preserving the integrity of the evidence that they were collecting. This entire thing is a freaking scam. It's been a scam from the start, but at this point I'd argue it's near confirmed. Jack Smith, a real professional. Really? Is this how professional prosecutors act? Because if this is how professional prosecutors act, then the entire frickin' system needs reform. There is no other way to explain Jack Smith's actions in this case other than clearly biased and politically motivated. And none of his explanations make any sense. I've yet to see a legitimate explanation as to why this case shouldn't have been dismissed based on the initial bombshells that dropped relating to prosecutorial misconduct in reference to how Jack Smith's team acted with Walt Nauta. There's been no explanation for the disregard for chain of custody and total mishandling of evidence, and now this possible doctoring of evidence. And there's also no logical response or explanation as to why Jack Smith's team on August 8th of 2022, when conducting the raid on Mar-a-Lago, decided it would be appropriate to turn off the CCTV servers. Execution of search warrant. At approximately 9:55 a.m., the CCTV servers were turned off to prevent recording, at the request of the FBI out of concern for agent safety. At approximately 10:20 a.m., recording resumed at the direction of Trump's attorneys. They walked in on this stitch job, and the first thing that they did was turn off the cameras. Jack Smith's explanation? Agent safety. You're freaking raiding the former president of the United States' home. Don't you think it's a matter of national interest that there be some sort of record? Apparently not. At least according to Jack Smith's team. This case is so filled with bias and misconduct it's not even funny. Jack Smith's little document case in Florida should be dismissed with prejudice immediately. I mean, the sheer totality of it all is frankly just stunning. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.